Good morning, everyone. Thanks for being here. Our regular agenda does start with the consideration of the minutes from the November 13th, 2020 meeting. And I hope everyone has had an opportunity to review those. And if there are any changes or corrections or items of note, please speak up. Otherwise, I would entertain a motion to approve.
Chairman, Rick Sprain, I will make a motion to approve the minutes from last month, from November 13th, 2020.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Chairman, this is Michael King. I second that motion.
Thank you. The motion has been made and seconded to approve the minutes from the November 13th meeting. All those in favor say aye.
I will go ahead and call the roster.
Right. Thank you, Kat.
Yep. So Jim McCarver.
Aye.
Rick Sprain.
Approved.
Michael Mirko. Michael Mirko. It looks like he got disconnected. They are coming back into the meeting.
Hey, I'm here.
So Michael Mirko, we're approving the minutes of the previous meeting.
Okay, I wasn't at that meeting.
Okay, you can still vote on the item.
Okay.
Because you had them to review and they were available, the meeting was available publicly. So if you approve the meeting minutes, then you say aye.
Okay.
All right. Mike King.
I approve.
Rob Johnson.
Aye.
Okay. And Robert Burford.
Aye.
Okay. Motion passes unanimously to approve the meeting minutes from the November 13th, 2020 meeting.
Okay, this is Robert again. We'll now move on to our next item of business, which is HP 20-012. It's 111 South Cortez Street. It's in the Preservation District number 1, the Courthouse Plaza, and it is a request for sign replacement and awning fabric change for Lifeways books and gifts. I will turn this back over to Ms. Moody for a discussion.
Thank you. As stated, this is a request for signage and awning changes at Lifeways Books. This is part of the Courthouse Plaza National Register District and also local historic district. This is a shot from Google Street View as things look today. And the request is to, I'm going to start with the signage and then we'll move on to the awning. The request is to remove these two signs, which
Kat, we don't see anything. We're still on the agenda.
So you're not seeing that. Let me go back. Just one moment. Okay.
There we go.
Sorry.
There's the Google Street View.
Yeah, this is Google Street View. So this is the current view of Lifeways Books and Gifts signage. You can see that the building is actually two different buildings here, and the heights are different. And the signage for this business has been located in the two facets of the building, and the current signage doesn't quite stay within the sign band. It's a little bit extended up above onto the trim here. The proposal is to remove this signage, and the front of the building will end up being repainted as part of this project. I will be showing you paint samples in a moment, but the sign that will be placed within this sign band is going to be, I'm going to switch back to this view, and let me just grab this. So you are now seeing the Lifeways Books and Gifts proposed sign. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So the signage that's being proposed to be replaced for this has the same text as the previous sign, but it lies completely within the sign band. And that sign is made up of 3mm Dibond lettering that is flush mounted to the wall. And then the lettering is painted a bronze color. Now, in the rendering here, this looks quite brown, the trim and the awning. So what we're looking at here is just the signage component for this. And then to address the awning, actually, we're good there. Just a moment. This is the proposed awning and paint color. So the base color of the facade would be this very light, it's called grape mist. It's kind of a slightly purple tinged off-white cream color. And then the trim color, and I'll review this a moment here, going back to the full picture, will be this dewberry, which is a purple trim color. And then the awning being proposed is a purple awning that would be matching the fairly close to the trim color. So those colors, the base is that very light grape mist. The dewberry would be the trim, and then the awning would be that Sunbrella Concord. And so those are the proposed elements that go with this facade change, signage, painting, and awning. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to you all for discussion. We do have the sign contractor on the meeting, and so if there are questions for him, we can ask him to answer those.
Thank you, Kat. This is Robert again. I will turn it over to anyone that has comments or questions to ask. And then I have one simple question. Go right ahead.
This is Rick Spring. Does that color, the purple, does that fit into the downtown historical area?
Well, we have a fairly broad range of fabric around the plaza. We've had, let me go back to Street View for you. As you can see, you know, there's greens, there's some browns, some tans. We've had some grays. If you look back down, say, you know, there's quite bright green there. We've had, and I don't know how long ago this street view was taken, but let's see what, we've had bright reds, went too far, just one moment. We've also had things like this very bright sort of kiwi green, and I'd say that's in the same kind of vein as, and this red here is a fairly saturated color. So the question is, yeah, it is different than anything else we have on the plaza, but I don't know that it's completely out of character given the variety of other awnings that are found in the area.
Thank you.
So along that same line, the city does not have any requirements as far as color schemes for awnings. Is that right?
And I'm sorry, who's speaking?
This is Jim McCarver.
Okay, thank you. We just say compatible with the district. So there's not a color scheme that's associated with the district. It's fairly broad and not particularly specific.
How about this is Jim McCarver again. How about that light grape color for the building itself? Are there any requirements there? It seems like that would clash with the tan that's on the buildings of the adjacent to that.
Let me go back to that. So the color is probably slightly pinker looking than the adjacent tan, but I wouldn't say that would clash, but color is a very subjective element. This is going to look like a slightly warmer or a slightly pinker version of than the tans on either side. And let me see if I can get this to respond. I've got a just one moment. Okay, so back to this. So just back to street view here. It will have some kind of contrast. I would say it might be comparable to what you see just down the way. Teratai and the old Goldwater's building are both a different facade color. They are a light green, as you can see here. I think Marino's Maburger is also a lighter color than the adjacent tan that was part of this building here. These businesses are all sort of a light tan. Marino's is a little lighter, and then Teratai and over to the Goldwaters is all a light green. So we do have some variety of colors in the building facades. We do not regulate paint colors in this district. Paint's considered temporary, but we can offer, feedback to the applicant on that if, we feel that it's out of keeping with what's going to look good in the district. But we do not regulate them. Paint is not something that's permitted, and the purview of this commission is for the signage and the awning, because both of those things would require a permit.
Yes, this is Robert again, and I have just a couple of questions. And also, I would like to say that color will sometimes convey the image of the business, and that's their choice and consideration. I think the deepness of the awning color is good, that it's good and saturated, rich. But I have a couple of questions. That's just my attitude at the moment. A couple of questions about the lettering itself. These 3 millimeter letters, as I understand it, they would be applied directly to the surface. And I think, Kat, you mentioned that they were going to be bronze, and so bronze like a statue, or a really deep anodized kind of bronze, like maybe a window frame would be possibly.
I'll let Brian answer that.
Hi, this is Brian with A&B Sign. The letter color is basically a Duranotic bronze, which would be similar to a window frame. And also regarding the flush mounted letters, there is, I believe we have changed that flush mount to a slight standoff mount with just to give the lettering a little bit more dimension instead of having it look like it's painted onto the building. You get a little more shadowing and a little bit a nicer effect. So there is going to be a little bit of gap behind the letters.
This is Robert. Thank you, Brian. I appreciate that. I think that will be a good effect. Get a little bit of that western sky shadow on the letters at different times. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Brian, I have a quick question. Just to verify, you don't have any lighting associated with this sign?
No, it is not illuminated.
Okay. Neither is their current sign, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Mike Marco, what are the letters made of, if I may ask?
Yeah, so the letters are made of 3 millimeter, which is an 1/8 inch, give or take, thick dye bond, which that's just a brand name of ACM panel, which is a product that's used extensively in construction nowadays. It's aluminum on the front and back with a composite core.
Thank you.
This is Jim McCarver again. I'm assuming that the size of the lettering and the size of the awning fit in any restrictions that the city has?
They do. Yeah, the sign is completely within their, it only is 16 square feet, and they would be allotted much more than that because of the frontage of the business. And the awning is certainly within, the recommendations for this district are that we encourage awnings in the district, and we encourage these sloped awnings as a design form.
This is Robert. Again, are there other comments from either the commissioners or the public or others? If not, I would entertain a motion here on this item.
Mr. Chairman, this is Michael King. I suggest that we approve HP 20-012 as stated and presented to us this morning.
Thank you. A second.
This is Rick Sprain. I'll second.
Okay,
Thank
we
you.
have We have a motion and a second. I'm going to go down the rest of you guys and we will take a vote. So Jim McCarver,
Approve.
Michael Marco,
Approve.
and Rob Johnson. Rob Johnson. I'm going to come back to him. So Robert Burford,
Approve.
and then I know that you motioned and seconded, but Rick Sprain
Approve.
and Mike King.
Approve.
Okay, and let's see if we've got Rob Johnson. Let me see if he's still in the meeting. Yes, he is. So I'm not sure if he's lost us on the call. So Rob Johnson, can you hear us? Let me, I'm going to stop sharing just for a moment. Troubleshoot this. So Rob, can you perhaps, if you can hear us, can you place your vote into the chat window? And that way we have a record of your vote.
Kat, the chat is disabled for our meetings
Oh, it is. Okay.
because they're public.
Well, I can contact Rob after the meeting to obtain his vote on this item. We do have a majority here, and so the motion will pass regardless of his vote, but I will attempt to contact him in order to get his vote after the meeting. And with that, let's move on to our next agenda item.
Yes, this is Robert. Update of current events. I believe we have a fairly major event at Miller Valley School coming up, but I'll let Ms. Moody discuss that.
We do. So you all probably had received a invitation yesterday to the plaque historic marker, which is a roadside marker like the other ones around downtown. And that event will be held at the Pocket Park, right adjacent to the Boy Scout bronze statue in front of the old Miller Valley location. That will be Friday, December 18th at 2 p.m. The event was by invitation, to a select group of people because of the gathering restrictions due to COVID-19. I encourage all of the commissioners to come. City Council, Mayor and City Management, as well as Community Development staff were also invited to this event. And it's really just an unveiling of the historic marker that commemorates Miller Valley School. And then I have one other thing to mention.
Kat, this is Michael King again. Is that plaque up there now?
It just got placed yesterday.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And this is Robert. Sorry, this is Robert Burford. I understand we need to basically reserve coming to the event so that we can keep the numbers down. Is that in order, Kat?
Well, so if anybody would, as I stated in the email, if anybody would like to bring either a friend or family member, just let me know so I can keep track of potential numbers. We'd have to have it stay under 50 people. I think we're clearly under 50 people right now by a margin. So I would be surprised if we even got 30, for the event. But and it is outside, and we can stay fully 6 feet apart or more. Mainly, the concern is that if somebody's speaking, you may not be able to hear them if the event gets too large and we have to be spread out. But if you know people who would like to come, just let me know. I don't think that'll be a problem, but we didn't advertise the event in the local newspaper because opening up to the public would likely have taken us over the gathering limit.
Thank you.
Sure. So the other item I have is, and let me see if I can reduce the size of this a little. Okay. So the other item I have is, I don't know how many of you have ever done the historic home tours down in the Phoenix area, but I received a postcard this week from the FQ Story home tour. This is a home tour I've done in the past. It's a really great neighborhood. I've got on screen here, it's a little bit of information about where the neighborhood is and the types of architecture that are included. And because of the pandemic, they were fairly creative in how they're conducting their home tour this year. Normally, you would buy a ticket and go down, and their home tour extends normally across a Saturday and a Sunday. They often have a street fair along the main street with like food vendors and artists. It's a pretty big event. It's also their main fundraiser for their neighborhood association. And so this URL is fqstory.org, and this is the site that has, it's got a page on the history of the neighborhood if you're interested in why it's called FQ Story, and a history of Francis Quarles' story and his development of the area. One of the things you can link to from here is under the calendar of events, you can link to the home tour. And so this year, because of the pandemic, the home tour is virtual. And so it's also free. So they do encourage donations as part of going through the home tour. You will be encouraged to donate to the neighborhood association. But I think it's great that they've provided this. So you can go to the home tour, and then you can go ahead and you go through the homes. And so they've done this video tour of historic homes. They have interviews with homeowners who are working on projects and improvements. And I would encourage you to do it. And if you feel generous, then to donate to their effort. It's a really wonderful thing that it's offered for free to the public. So I just wanted to make you aware of that. I think it's an opportunity.
This is Robert again. Thank you, Kat. I think since it's online and available, it will be easy to take in. Thank you for that. Yeah. And does anyone else have any current events or statements?
Hello, Chairman Burford. This is Bryn, and I just wanted to wish the commission a wonderful holiday season. I know it's been a little unconventional as we've met a variety of different ways, but thank you all for participating virtually, and we look forward to more normalcy in the new year. Thank you all.
Thank you, Bryn. Well put. And I would add to that, everybody stay safe, use the precautions that we know work out here, and hug your loved ones virtually, which is what I'll be doing.
Mr. Chairman, this is Michael King. I'd like to add something else, please. And thank you for that, those kind words, Bryn and Bob. I would like to commend the city on their quick response and some of our volunteers in our community on the graffiti on the well, where Lamerson is and the original building there. And also
Masonic Temple Building.
right, the Masonic building. And you know, we've spent a lot of time on color today and all that other stuff. And that I don't feel we need to address those kinds of things when it comes to what I call an emergency. Someone has defaced a building and they replicated the colors as best they could. I would support those kinds of efforts if this comes up again. Secondly is I gave a small walking tour to a small group of people downtown, and I made note of another graffiti tagging above the Broken Arrow building on the west side of the Burmester building and Bashford building that people were not aware of. The police were not aware of it. So there's that element in our community right now, and it's unfortunate. But nonetheless, I do appreciate the work that's being done to find the culprit and to remove those or paint over that graffiti. So that's my comments.
And I can add a little bit to, I did meet Charlie Arnold out at the Masonic Temple Building when he was finishing up the paint job there. So as you are likely well aware, we do not recommend painting unpainted masonry on any of our downtown buildings. And sometimes this causes a conflict when we have graffiti, say on a brick building that's never been painted. The course of action is to try to remove the graffiti without damaging the brick and not paint over it. In the case with the Masonic Temple building, the upper 2 floors of that building had already received a paint-like coating, and so those upper 2 floors are already painted masonry. So all they did was take the upper level was actually starting to chip off, so they removed all the chipping or flaking areas. They got the color matched, and then they recoated with the same color as was already there.
Again, I'd like to commend your work with them and what was done there.
Thank you.
And with that, hearing no other comments, I will adjourn this December 11th meeting of the Prescott Preservation Commission. Thank you, one and all.
Goodbye.
Thank you.